chapter 1, the story of Peter and Ian.
Okay.
Where are you from in Canada?
I'm from Fredericton originally.
Fredericton, and you, Ian?
I'm from a town called Martintown. It's in Glengarry County in Eastern Ontario.
Near Cornwall.
Right near Cornwall, yeah.
Right near
That's
Cornwall. How did you end up in South Korea?
So I had worked as a sports writer up in Grand Prairie for a couple of years and decided that maybe that wasn't for me. And I quit, and I had a couple of friends who I went to university with in Kamloops, and they were in a real rural town, and they loved it, and they recommended it, so I applied and came over, and that was 7.5 years ago. It'll be 8 years in August.
Fantastic. And then we'll pick up what your life is now in a second, but then what about your story?
Yeah, I would have I would have graduated university in 2011, and from there I had some
In what?
I was in Peterborough, and I majored in politics.
Okay.
I don't know why, but anyways, after I graduated, I obviously had some student debts, and I also wanted to see the world, I guess. So I looked into this and teaching English overseas. I was able to tick all those boxes. So
Fantastic. So you don't have to go to teachers college or anything like that. You apply to how does it work to teach English here?
At the time, I was dangerously unqualified. Like you didn't really need anything. Now you do need certification and that sort of thing. So
Okay.
yeah, it's just a bachelor's degree gets you in the door, and then they also needed like if you did an ESL course, you got a pay bump. So, I mean, it paid for itself. It's just like 2-week course. So I did that. Now I think it's required.
it is required, yeah. And when I came over, it was very last minute, so I didn't have time to do that course. So all I had was a bachelor's degree in journalism.
And here you are. And so, what are you teaching? Where are you living?
Well, I'm currently between jobs. My wife and I live in Gwangju, which is a major city in Jeollanam-do, which is probably about 5 or 6 hours south of here.
Okay. And you here?
Yeah, I live in a city called Yosu. It's on the southern coast, and I teach in a middle school, boys and girls middle school.
And teaching English.
Teaching English, yes.
And how do you guys know each other?
It's a pretty small community, our province, so most people know most people. I mean, there used to be beach parties.
Yeah.
That.
Even though you're 5 or 6 hours away, you'd come in?
No,
so-
sorry. We live in the same province. We're 5 or
Okay.
6 hours from here. Yes.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started teaching in a little town called Boseong, which is famous for green tea. Someone will probably tell you about it while you're here. And but Ian was originally in Haenam, and those two places were fairly close. I mean,
Yeah.
about a 30-40 minute drive.
When you just get a dozen foreigners in each town, and we all come in the same orientation, we tend to run in the same circles. So if there's a birthday party or beach party or going away party, we all tend to see each other at the bar.
Yeah.
And
But I
then,
guess really, like, we would just kind of see each other. We didn't really hang out, didn't
Yeah.
contact each other to hang out. Recently, I guess it's been almost a few years.
Yeah.
We started playing hockey on a team in southern Jeollanam-do, yeah. So,
So the expat community is tight.
yeah.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned your wife. Obviously, you met somebody when you're here. Tell me about how that happened.
I worked at a girls' middle school, and my now wife's mom was a math teacher there, and she basically forced her daughter to apply for an English teaching job. So it's actually almost 4 years ago now, because we actually met the day after Canada won gold in Sochi in the men's game. It was a job interview, and we started dating about a year after we started working together, and she was on a 1-year contract, so. And yeah, we got married last April 15th, and
Here?
yeah, that's it. Yes, yeah, we got married here. My parents came over for the wedding. And
How have you found that is a full integration into Korean life
Yeah.
here? How has that opened your eyes or changed your experience of living here? What do you think?
I think going into it, I was a little bit concerned, especially when you hear like we need to keep this secret from my parents. Like you kind of assume that it may not go all that well. But her family's been very accepting, and just last week it was the Lunar New Year, and so I spent that with her entire family, like the whole extended family. Went to Gwangju, and they've been very nice, and yeah, it's been great.
Because, listen, I mean, I would guess that since the Korean War, integrated families, interracial families are not an uncommon thing. I've met a lot of them, Canadians who are here who've met Korean women, generally Canadian men who met Korean women, I think.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think
know if
that's
more
generally.
common.
We know some
I know
some
quite a
some
few
women. Yeah.
women
The other
who
way
get married,
around?
yeah.
Yeah.
And you, not married at the point?
Not married,
Not
yeah.
married yet. tell me about. So this is this is a particular challenge that Peter has had in terms of that. Not a challenge, but well, I'm sure there are moments of challenge. But for you, what's been the biggest adjustment?
I don't know. I guess I mean being away from family is obviously tough, and being away from the comforts at home, I suppose. But to be honest, I guess the reason I'm still here is that there hasn't been too many challenges. I'm actually really comfortable here, and you see a lot of people who come here, and it's like they hold their breath, and like by the end of their contract, they're just like ready to go home. They're just done with it, and like I never really got that at all.
So how many
Probably a
years
lousy
in are you
answer,
now?
but
No, it's
yeah.
a great answer.
I suppose this will be 6 years now.
6 years.
Yeah.
So if you haven't been holding your breath to get home, what have you been enjoying about it here?
I guess I don't know. Just like life is comfortable. I've gotten to like the food. My sister came out to visit, and I was showing her all the food, and she couldn't believe it. She's like, Ian, I can't believe you're eating this. You were always the pickiest eater.
Really?
And I'm like, no, I was. And then I thought of it. I'm like, I really was the pickiest eater. And yeah.
And so now what are you loving? Tell me your favorites.
Favorite what food?
Yes.
Oh man, I usually kimchi jjigae. That's my go-to.
It's
That's like
kimchi with
stew.
everything, isn't
Yeah.
it? Kimchi stew.
Yeah.
Kimchi for breakfast.
Kimchi with everything, yeah. And before hockey, I usually have a bibimbap. That's my go-to. Have you had
Okay,
that?
I have not had that yet, but they even
really
have
good.
those in Toronto, which I mean,
Yeah.
there's in the
Okay,
Korean
yeah.
community in Toronto. So
And then the barbecue is
Yeah.
fantastic.
I'm having that before I leave.
Oh, you haven't had it yet?
No.
Yeah. Oh, you got it.
We've had
Yeah.
bonkers hours.
Yeah.
But I want to have barbecue for sure. What's your favorite? What should I try? Or what should we make sure we
The
try?
bibimbap's my favorite.
Is it?
But then,
Explain what's in that.
so it's a rice bowl with vegetables and egg and like hot pepper paste, I guess.
As I listen to you then, I'm thinking that you're pretty ensconced here. I mean, is move back to Canada in the plans at all?
No.
No.
No,
Never?
I don't. I mean, I wouldn't say never, but certainly in this short
You'd have
to
kids
medium
here
term.
and raise children here?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people, I think, have a little bit of a problem with the education system. Kind of once you hit middle school, it's so many hours that a lot of people don't want to put their kids through that. Like, you know, Ian has students who probably have the same thing, but you know, like they'll do a full day of schooling and then they go to a private academy, and that might take them till 10 p.m. So it's a long day for kids, can be. So I think a lot of people tend to go through elementary school and then they'll move back home kind of right before hitting middle school. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I think I would have no problem raising kids here.
When they see a young white man, when they first saw you, maybe it's now commonplace, I don't know, but did they take pictures? Did they look at you strangely? Were you sort of the first white man that some of these
Certainly at
kids
the
had
beginning they do.
seen?
There's a lot of little things like arm hair. They go nuts over arm hair.
Seriously?
Yeah. They'll just, without even asking, they'll just start petting you. Yeah, the kids go nuts over it. I don't even have a lot, but yeah, that's a big deal. And yeah, I used to get pictures sometimes, and then even today, like today we were leaving the house, you just hear people say, "Oh, foreigner."
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. I guess it's a novelty to them.
Yeah, and I don't think neither of us speak anything close to perfect Korean. Like we can just kind of get by, and that's, you know, like if you walk around and you just kind of say hello in Korean, that tends to get a reaction. Last night, like you said, I say hello to some kids, and it was just like,
They know what.
Yeah.
yeah.
So basically, a good move for both of you all around.
I mean, I think in all honesty, I'd say it's the best decision I've ever made. I mean,
Yeah, I've been loving it, and yeah, like the boxes I wanted to tick off, I told you before, I've been able to. I was able to pay off my student debt within a couple of years. I've seen the world, and yeah, it's been great.
Well, 감사합니다.
Yeah,
To you
yeah.
both. Thanks, guys.